Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about thrush treatment. This horse does not have a bad case of thrush. I usually just try to keep up on it so that I don't get behind the curve as far as that goes. When I'm doing my thrush treatment, I start off with a clean foot by using that wire brush that we spoke of in the previous video to clean that foot out with just some Blue Dawn dishwashing detergent and really just brush that sole. It exfoliates it a little bit and gets all those crevices nice and clean. So that you can apply whatever form of treatment that you decide you're going to use. As a preventative for a horse that doesn't have thrush, I will usually clean that foot out really nice and well, and then just use some apple cider vinegar with a little bit of tea tree oil in it to spray in the collateral grooves on the frog all over the sole. I think it works really good on healthy feet to help prevent thrush from setting in. I think the word is that it helps balance the pH levels of the horse's foot when it's been standing in mud and manure and urine, so that's what I use. I just pick a spray bottle that works really good. This is just an old spray bottle from another product that I used. It's straight apple cider vinegar with just about 10 drops of tea tree oil in it, and it's just as simple as, like I said, starting off with a clean foot, and then just use that and spray in the collateral grooves, in the frog, on the sole. And then usually I'll just let that sit on the foot for a period of time while I'm addressing the other 3 feet. And then when I come back, usually it's pretty dry by then. It's a little wet out today, so it's not going to dry up for me. And for the purposes of this video, we're going to move right along. But you want that foot now to be as dry as possible when you apply your other products. One of my favorite products to use is this drenching syringe, and inside of it is a mixture of 40% zinc oxide, 8 ounces of zinc oxide with 2 teaspoons of copper sulfate powder mixed in thoroughly, and this is going to help if you have some deep crevices in that frog or around the collateral grooves that needs to have thrush treatment, but it's a little bit deep and you can't get into those areas with just simply, rubbing a topical treatment on. So this is what I use for those times. So I'm just going to pick up the foot, and this horse doesn't have any crevices right now. His frog's pretty tight, so I'm just going to kind of dry off that apple cider vinegar, and then you use this syringe. And if this horse had some deep cracks, this would just go right in those cracks. And then you just use a slight amount. You can see maybe that some of that is coming out. Then you know you've had enough. And it just takes a very small amount. So that zinc oxide is really good at staying in the foot. Even when it's wet and muddy, I'll come back 2 or 3 days later and I'll find that white zinc oxide is still where I left it. Now, I personally like to put a little bit in the collateral grooves, especially if you have nice deep grooves, just as a preventative as well. So that is the one treatment that I use pretty regularly, actually, just to stay on top of those things, especially during the wet season. And if I have any cracks at all that I can't get to just with my finger, I like to use that drenching syringe in order to get into those areas. Now, another product that I really like is Life Data Hoof Clay. Sometimes I use this without the copper sulfate. Sometimes I use one or the other. It just depends. With this particular horse right now, I probably would have just used the Life Data Hoof Clay in order to just prevent some of that mud from packing in and staying in. And I just get a little pea size of that hoof clay, and I